For 3 years, I'd been his stand-in girlfriend. Now, Justin's first love was finally back in the country. I thought I'd finally give her back her rightful place as his girlfriend, but instead, she called me his sister-in-law. He exploited me every day, treated me like a personal assistant, and I had to endure him praising himself in the mirror constantly. Finally, these humiliating situations were coming to an end. Tearfully, I approached him. "Justin, it's time to give this position back to Lisa. Our contract ends here." As I spoke, I packed all the clothes and bags he'd given me into my suitcase. There were bank cards, the property deed, so much that I was almost crying for real. If my suitcase wasn't already full, I wouldn't have left the high-end makeup on the vanity either. Just then, a long, slender, fair finger with distinct joints pressed down on one of my bank cards. "Wait, who said you could leave?" My $5 eye drops were clinging to my eyelashes, and hearing that, I didn't react for a moment. I looked up blankly at the owner of the finger. What do you mean?" The man had a sharp nose and cold, stern eyes. His black tailored shirt outlined his muscular arms and lean physique. He looked down at me from his height, a cruel curve forming on his lips. "The terms of the contract haven't been completed. You can't go." 3 years ago, to pay for my grandma Eleanor's medical treatment, I signed a stand-in contract with Justin. He needed someone to pretend to be his girlfriend until his first love returned to him. Coincidentally, I bore a slight resemblance to his first love. Same nose, same mouth, same 2 eyes. And so, I gloriously became his stand-in. In these 3 years as the CEO's stand-in girlfriend, I paid too high a price for love. And Justin? He was like some wicked capitalist, ordering me around and exploiting me to the extreme. He was simply devoid of conscience and humanity. I finally looked forward to his first love's return, thinking the contract could end. But unexpectedly, he wanted me to help him win over his first love. After all, who with clear vision would fall for someone as arrogant and conceited as him? Summer Davies, what are you thinking about now? I'm thinking that for a man as handsome, rich, and unparalleled as you, any girl would fall head over heels for you the moment she saw you. Is that so? He scoffed, glancing at me, then looked at the mirror on the vanity, a satisfied expression on his face. He believed it. He actually believed it. The mirror reflected my current expression, one of wanting to speak, but holding back. "Get ready. Come to the airport with me." Before I could react, Justin, as usual, started giving me orders. I was puzzled. Why go to the airport? With a hand casually in his pocket, he walked out of my room, leaving only 3 words. "I'm picking up Lisa." At the airport, I followed behind the man, wearing a showy red dress and 8-centimeter black high heels. "Justin, wait for me." Looking at the man striding confidently ahead, I wanted nothing more than to take off my high heels and throw them at the back of his head. Why did he have to bring me to pick up his first love? But I guess he was doing it to provoke her. That scheming man. Still, to cooperate with him, I thoughtfully put on this battle outfit, just to make the provocation more intense. Who knew high heels were so difficult to wear? I almost tripped 4 or 5 times along the way. As I was thinking this, someone rushed past me again. I was accidentally bumped, and my body swayed uncontrollably, falling towards the ground. I squeezed my eyes shut in panic, feeling like I was done for today. The next second, I landed in a broad, warm embrace. I opened my eyes fearfully and saw Justin's cold, indifferent gaze. Thank you. I was so scared I couldn't speak clearly, using his strength to steady myself. Justin let out a cold snort, his tone filled with disdain. "So clumsy." Suddenly, an excited voice came from the direction of the airport exit. Justin's first love was named Lisa. Although I had never met her, I expected someone pure, gentle, and sweet just by her name. Before coming, I had even imagined the scene when I met Lisa. Seeing me, the arrogant woman appearing with Justin, she would surely feel wronged, act spoiled, shake Justin's arm, and beg him to send me away. But who could tell me? The woman at the airport exit, wearing a tank top, with tanned, bronze skin, a hip-hop style, was she really his first love? Lisa. Justin's reply filled me with despair. I stood there in a daze in the breeze. So, This is the type the aloof Justin liked? As a professional stand-in who was paid for the job, I still had to complete my task. So when I saw Lisa striding towards us, dragging her luggage, I puffed out my chest and boldly linked my arm through Justin's. The man beside me stiffened. Understandable. After all, he was a peculiar man who didn't like others touching him. In the past 3 years, the few times I had touched him were when one of us was drunk. Either he was drunk or I was drunk. Seeing Lisa about to run over and hug him, I put on my best act and lifted my chin. Hello, Lisa. I'm his. You must be my sister-in-law. Lisa dropped her luggage and excitedly hugged me. The unique scent of a woman filled my nostrils, and I couldn't help but blush. Such a sweet-smelling girl. How unfortunate that she was fancied by Justin. Lisa hugged me excitedly and said, "Sister-in-law, you're so beautiful. I've wanted to meet you for a long time." Lost in admiring her beauty, I hadn't paid attention to what she called me. Sister-in-law? Shouldn't she be jealous that I stole Justin and try to get rid of me? Why was she calling me sister-in-law? And why did she say she'd wanted to meet me for a long time? Had Justin said something to her? Most importantly, who told her to be so enthusiastic towards me? This wasn't according to the script. I looked at Justin, wanting to cry. He had a dark expression and glared fiercely at me. He looked like I had stolen his woman. Wait, maybe I had stolen his woman. On the way back, Lisa pulled me to sit in the back seat and talk to me nonstop. One moment she would lean close to me, blinking her eyes curiously. Sister-in-law, what skincare products do you use? Your skin is so good. The next moment she would take my hand and exclaim, Sister-in-law, how are your hands so beautiful? Even I, thick-skinned as I was, couldn't handle all her compliments. And the look in her eyes grew more and more curious. Lisa said, Sister-in-law, I wish I were a boy. Just then, Justin, who had been neglected, probably felt unhappy. He suddenly slammed on the brakes, his face dark. My body lurched forward. Sister-in-law, be careful. Luckily, Lisa reacted quickly, wrapping her arms around my waist and pulling me back. My heart pounded. Just as I was about to thank her, I heard her whisper in my ear, Sister-in-law, your waist is so thin. Instantly, I froze. What in the world was going on? Could Justin's first love be gay? Could she be falling for me? I immediately looked towards the driver's seat with sympathy. The driver, David, was also looking at me angrily through the rearview mirror. That cold stare, that sharp gaze. I had a new theory. Did he know? Was he angry because I had discovered it? I had stumbled upon a shocking secret, and I was still reeling when we got out of the car. Just then, Justin, while Lisa wasn't looking, gave my waist a cold pinch. Go park the car in the garage. A shiver ran down my spine. Justin brought Lisa back to his place to stay. Apparently, they had a family expectation of marriage, and the elders had been urging them to spend time together to develop their feelings. Lisa's return this time was at the strong insistence of her family, forcing her to stay at Justin's place. When she told me this, she was afraid I'd be upset and went to great lengths to explain. Little did she know I was laughing triumphantly in my heart. This was absolutely perfect. I was originally worried I wouldn't have a chance to set them up, but now that we were living under the same roof, wouldn't there be plenty of opportunities? On Lisa's first day there, I suggested they share a room. I found Justin and said, remember, prepare some aromatherapy and wine tonight. I'll bring Lisa over, and you have to seize the opportunity. Justin stood with his arms crossed, his delicate features filled with cold disdain. His thin lips curved into a mocking arc. Do I need such underhanded methods? He was utterly contemptuous of the idea. I almost rolled my eyes to the sky. After 3 years, he still hadn't won Lisa over, and he had the nerve to call my method underhanded? I feigned a submissive okay, but immediately started planning for the evening. After dinner, I used the excuse of helping Lisa with her luggage to put her suitcase in Justin's room. Lisa was still unaware and brought me a drink. You're so nice. Here, have some water. Seeing her moved expression, I felt a strong sense of guilt. After all, I hadn't even asked her if this was what she wanted. Maybe I should just give up? Lisa is so sincere to me. While wrestling with my conscience, I absent-mindedly drank the beverage. The sweet and sour drink felt warm in my stomach. I was surprised. Lisa, what kind of drink is this? Why does it feel like alcohol, making me warm all over? Lisa smiled sweetly. Sister-in-law, it's a cocktail I mixed myself. It's called Sweet Dreams. It's a special gift for you and Justin. Hearing that, my heart sank and I chuckled awkwardly. Lisa, you're such a prankster. The next second, I couldn't laugh anymore. I dropped the glass and rushed to the bathroom to throw up. But the situation was clearly more serious than I thought. When I drank that cocktail just now, I hadn't been on guard at all, so I gulped down the entire glass. Now that the alcohol was hitting me, I felt clearly lightheaded and dizzy, like I was walking on cotton. Just then, Lisa's worried voice came from outside the door. I don't know what's wrong with sister-in-law. Maybe it's the drink she had. Justin, go check on her quickly. The bathroom door opened. Justin walked in, his brow furrowed. Seeing me kneeling on the floor, dizzy and disheveled, he gritted his teeth. Summer Davies, you're really something. With that, he bent down, wrapping one arm under my knees and the other under my armpit, lifting me up. I was completely disoriented, but my mind was still fixed on the important task. I leaned into Justin's ear and whispered, Justin, don't worry. I'll definitely make it happen for you. The tall, handsome man's body stiffened. After a moment, he gritted his teeth and coldly squeezed out a sentence. Who told you to butt in? Huh? He doesn't want me to help? Then why wouldn't he let me leave? Justin carried me back to my room and tucked me into bed. The alcohol was fermenting in my body, and I felt hot all over. Drunk, I didn't know what I was doing and kicked off the blanket. It's so hot. Justin, you jerk. A flicker of impatience appeared between the man's eyebrows. He grabbed my wrist and warned me coldly, shut up. If you keep making noise, I'll throw you out. His threat silenced me instantly. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a shadowy figure lurking at the door. Huh? What's Lisa doing? Dizzily, I sat up, wanting to alert Justin. Justin turned his head to look, following my movement. We both heard a click. Lisa had locked the door. Her gleeful voice came from outside. Sister-in-law, Justin, to thank you for picking me up, I thoughtfully prepared aromatherapy and wine for you. You should seize the opportunity. My head was spinning and throbbing, and the scene before my eyes seemed to sway. Hearing that, I curiously hummed in response. Justin, why does that sound a little familiar? The man looked down at me, grinding his teeth slightly. What do you think? My first big plan of action was defeated when I accidentally fell into the enemy's trap. Afterward, I asked Justin how he slept that night. He looked at me with cold arrogance and mockery and said, What? You thought I'd sleep in the same bed as you. Don't be delusional, Summer Davies. I was speechless, looking at his disdainful expression. As if I wanted to sleep in the same bed as him. I was just thinking that if he touched my bed, I'd have to change the sheets and duvet cover. For a lazy person like me, changing bedding is an extremely painful task. It was absolutely wonderful that he didn't sleep in my bed. For the second time, I decided to redouble my efforts and was determined to get Justin and Lisa together. So, when they weren't paying attention, I went into Justin's private bathroom and stole his bath towel. That evening, an angry roar suddenly came from the bathroom. Summer Davies, where did you take my bath towel? Calmly, I found Lisa and clutched my stomach, pretending to be in great pain. Lisa, could you help me take the bath towel to Justin? My stomach hurts, and I need to go to the bathroom. After saying that, I dropped the towel and ran off without looking back. After staying in the bathroom long enough for something to happen between them, I hummed a cheerful tune as I prepared to come out. The moment I opened the door, a grin-faced figure of doom stood outside. What's wrong? Was the time too short, or was he unable? Why that expression? The next second, I heard Justin say with a cold laugh, Stomach bothering you? Here, have some medicine. Later, I found out that Lisa hadn't gone to find Justin at all. And Justin didn't wait for someone to bring him a bath towel. He just got dressed while still wet. After he came out, he blocked the bathroom door, waiting for me. Lisa leaned in close to me and said, Sister-in-law, Justin is truly devoted to you. Who else would dare make him guard a bathroom door? Looking at the sly smile on Lisa's face, I felt deeply that I had been tricked again. After that, I tried several more times. But without exception, they all ended in failure. I was utterly discouraged. I am a loser. Woulda. Even Justin couldn't take it anymore and actually came to question me about my intentions. I cried and almost knelt before him. What intentions could I possibly have for doing all this? It's certainly not because I like you. It was all because the enemy was too vigilant, making me suffer losses every time. This was originally just a joke. But clearly, the person involved didn't think so. His eyebrows slightly raised, and a cold smile played on his lips. I knew it, Summer Davies. No wonder you've been trying to get close to me repeatedly. So you had ulterior motives? What? Is he out of his mind? Having repeatedly failed, I decided to talk to Lisa. I figured she treated me as Justin's girlfriend, which was why she had kept her distance from him. If I told her the truth and removed those reservations, maybe things would turn out differently. Easier said than done. I found Lisa that evening. I have something I want to tell you. Sister-in-law? Come in. Lisa was changing clothes in her room. When I went in, she was trying to zip up her back. Seeing that she couldn't get it, I walked over and helped her. My cool fingertips accidentally brushed against the skin on her back. She flinched slightly and said shyly, "Sister-in-law, you're the first person to do this for me." I didn't think there was anything strange about that. I was about to ask her why. Didn't her friends ever help her with this? When I used to wear dresses with zippers in the back, I always ran into this problem, and my roommate always helped. I thought it was something everyone experienced. Just then, a sharp, questioning voice rang out. "What are you two doing?" Oh my God, he scared me to death. For a moment, I thought I had been caught having an affair. Turning my head, I saw Justin standing in the doorway, his face stiff and cold. Lisa's clothes were still intact. She snapped back at Justin, annoyed. "Don't you understand boundaries? Can't I even talk to my sister-in-law? She's my person. What do you have to talk about with her?" Justin's tone was aggressive. Suddenly, the tension between the two was palpable. I was dumbfounded. Huh? What happened now? Why were they fighting? And it seemed like I was the culprit? But I hadn't done a damn thing. Tonight, I'm going to have a heart-to-heart chat with my sister-in-law, and she's sleeping here with me. No. Why not? You two sleep in separate rooms every night. You won't even let me sleep with my sister-in-law. I said no, and that's final. She has something to do with me tonight, and must come with me. You're still so overbearing after all these years. Why does it have to be your way? Watching them argue so heatedly, I felt incredibly awkward. I cautiously raised my hand to speak. I have my own room. Both of them turned and snapped at me simultaneously. Shut up. The atmosphere froze for a moment. Lisa was clearly furious. After snapping at me, her eyes turned red, and she avoided looking at me, turning back to scold Justin, who told you to snap at Summer? Me? How did it turn into Summer? Justin's face was also grim. Without a word, he grabbed my wrist. Come with me. He forcefully dragged me to his room. Behind us, Lisa was stomping her foot in anger. The bedroom door closed, and the air grew quiet. I was incredibly awkward. In my life, besides being drunk, I had never been alone in a room with a man. And I never expected him and Lisa to argue. What was this? What was I? Isn't Lisa his first love? What in the world is going on in his head? We've put on a show. How about I go back and rest? Looking at Justin's cold, hard face, I cautiously suggested. Anyway, tonight wasn't the right time to discuss anything serious. I had nothing private to talk about with him. It was better for us to sleep in our own rooms. He couldn't possibly expect to sleep with me, could he? But unexpectedly, Justin gave me a cold glare and said, "Summer Davies, stay away from Lisa. Don't think I can't see what you're trying to do." My head was filled with question marks again. Did he see how desperate I was to leave? All right then. My heart lightened, and I decided to stop pretending with him. Actually, I was too embarrassed to say it before, since I couldn't fulfill the contract terms. But since you already know, why don't we just? Before I could finish speaking, Justin seemed to anticipate what I was about to say and interrupted me with a cold laugh. When you signed the contract, I warned you not to covet what doesn't belong to you. And you're still trying to use Lisa to get my attention? Humph. Summer Davies, you're smarter than I thought. He stood with his arms crossed, his tall and slender figure under the light. The harsh light illuminated his perfectly sculpted, fair face, making him appear even more cold and heartless. For words popped into my head. Are you okay? How deranged do you have to be to say something so utterly insane? I took a deep breath, forcing myself to swallow my curses, and plastered a fake smile on my face. Since you dislike me so much, why don't we just terminate the contract? I rubbed my hands together. Anyway, Lisa is back. Isn't this the perfect time for you to develop your relationship with her? Me being caught between you two is just getting in the way, isn't it? I looked at him hopefully, but he just frowned slightly, examining me with a condescending gaze. Playing hard to get? Your new tactic. He scoffed. I'm warning you. Here we go again. Do people think they can treat others like fools just because they don't get angry? I was genuinely getting mad. Warning? Warning about what? You think just because I give you a little slack, you can act like you own the place. I'm Summer Davies, and I'm here to earn money, not to be treated like a servant. I'm telling you right now, I'm not interested in you, and our contract ends here. Whether you want to deduct money or sue me, from this moment on, I, Summer Davies, quit. With that, I turned and walked away. The words I had held in for 3 years were finally out. Damn, that felt good. Just then, a massive force suddenly lifted me into the air. I was startled. Justin, what are you doing? Put me down. The man's face was stormy, his eyes filled with a fierce storm. He threw me onto the bed with an air of violence. Before I could say anything, he was on top of me. Summer Davies, you're not allowed to leave me for a single step without my permission. As he spoke, a fierce, punishing kiss descended. My eyes widened in shock. Justin was kissing me? Was he crazy, or was I? Sensing that he had further intentions, I slapped him across the face in a fit of rage. Justin, you pervert. The man on top of me was stunned by my slap, and he sobered up. He seemed just as surprised as I was that he had done such a thing, his expression tense. Get lost. Without waiting for him to speak, I pushed him away and ran, giving him the finger as I went. Although we were in a contract relationship, the contract clearly stated that we shouldn't have any intentions towards each other. Now that he had kissed me, it was a breach of contract. I was afraid if I stayed any longer, he would do something even more outrageous, so, taking advantage of the dark, moonless night, I booked a flight back home immediately. My hometown is Harmony Creek, over 600 miles from Metropolis. At home, it's just my grandma Eleanor and my brother. We've relied on each other since I was 5. When I got home, Grandma Eleanor was still sleeping. My brother, Aiden Davies, is in his senior year of high school and comes home once a week. Seeing it was still dark, I quietly slipped into the bedroom. Unexpectedly, Grandma Eleanor woke up from her sleep. Because it was still dark and I was wearing black clothes, the old lady was startled. She pointed at me and said, You, are you here to take me away? Seriously, she thought I was a death escort. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. To prevent the old lady from fainting from fright, I quickly turned on the light. Grandma, it's me, Summer. Grandma Eleanor was startled, then finally reacted. You little rascal. Why didn't you tell me you were coming back? You scared me to death. I thought the king of hell had come for me. She got out of bed in her slippers, pretending to hit me in anger. Although her tone was scolding, her face held a smile she couldn't suppress. I chuckled and hugged her tightly. Look who's talking. With me around, who would dare take you away? It had been half a year since I last came home, and I clung to Grandma Eleanor with some longing. Grandma Eleanor smiled and patted my hand. Why didn't you bring David back? Thinking of that man, I internally spat. He's busy with work, no time, I said with a sheepish smile. To avoid being questioned by Grandma Eleanor, I decided not to tell the old lady about my breakup with Justin yet. Grandma Eleanor knew I was with Justin. However, she thought Justin and I were in a real relationship. An old lady who had never left the small town of Harmony Creek in her life wouldn't know about such a modern thing as a contract relationship. In my sophomore year of college, my Grandma Eleanor had a heart problem and urgently needed a large sum for treatment. To pay for Grandma Eleanor's medical expenses, I had to balance studying and working simultaneously. My brother initially said he would drop out of school and work with me. I refused. For a child from a poor family, education was almost the only way out. I couldn't bear to waste my brother's most precious time, so I took on the entire family's income source by myself. That period was the most agonizing time for me. I worked part-time day and night, often so tired I could fall asleep standing up. However, the cost of Grandma Eleanor's treatment was astronomical. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't earn enough. Just when I was despairing and hating myself for being useless, Justin appeared. He was like a money-distributing boy, saying that as long as I became his stand-in girlfriend, he would give me $200,000 a month. With food and lodging provided and no illegal activities involved, there was no job more profitable than this. So I agreed without hesitation. Grandma Eleanor's surgery fees were settled. It just scared the old lady into thinking I had become someone's mistress, saying she'd rather go have tea with the king of hell. Well, my old lady was just that adorable. I had to ask Justin to step in and lie to her, telling her we were a genuine couple. To make it look convincing, Justin ran back and forth for me and Grandma Eleanor at the hospital, even losing weight. Anyway, never mind. Suddenly, I felt a pang of conscience, feeling bad for Justin. Although he was boring and arrogant, he was quite nice when he wasn't being a jerk. It was unfair to him that I left without saying goodbye just because he kissed me. So I sent him a message to inform him. I left, kinda in a hurry, forgot to tell you. Soon, Justin replied, "Why don't you just notify me when you die? This guy. How dare he curse me?" I immediately blocked and deleted him. The next day, my brother came home from school. He saw me and ran towards me excitedly like a dog spotting a bone. "Sis." A few of his male classmates, all around 6 feet tall, came back with him. In front of his classmates, the kid wrapped his arms around me. My height of 5 feet 5 inches made me feel like a dwarf in his arms. His male classmates behind him all called me sister. TSK, young and handsome boys, they were quite tempting. But I pretended to be serious and scolded my brother with a stern face. "You're 18 already, still so unsteady." He chuckled. "I just missed you because I hadn't seen you in so long." I immediately broke character and laughed, pinching his waist. "You brat, so sweet talkin'. Got a girlfriend yet?" Actually, even though my brother was only 18, his abs were quite firm. Before he could answer, his classmates behind him chuckled and explained for him. "Don't worry, sis. Aiden doesn't like any of the girls at our school. He says he wants to find a girlfriend who's even prettier and cuter than you." I looked at my brother with considerable pleasure, but the little rascal blushed and angrily chased his classmates away. His classmates were also from our town. I offered to let them stay for dinner, but they all said they had to go home to do homework. After they left, my brother smiled at me obsequiously. "Sis, let's go back inside too." I absolutely loved eating together as a family. It gave me a sense of belonging. At the dinner table, our family of 3 talked and laughed. My brother complained about how tiring his senior year of high school was and worried about not getting into my university. Oh, I forgot to mention. I attended Eastwood University, and because I was the top student in the state that year, my tuition was fully covered. I comforted my brother and told him not to feel too much pressure. If you can't get into Eastwood University, Westwood University is fine too. Grandma Eleanor was putting food on our plates from the side, her face crinkled with laughter. "I've sent 2 children to university. The TV station will have to come interview me again, won't they?" Back then, when I got into Eastwood University as the state's top student, reporters came to interview my Grandma Eleanor. The old lady was flustered at the time, adjusting her hair, afraid of embarrassing me. When people asked her how she educated me, she became much calmer and said she didn't do anything, that I was just naturally bright and hardworking. She looked so proud at that moment, which made me feel that all my hardships were worth it. My brother also said he wanted to make Grandma Eleanor proud again. While the 3 of us were talking and laughing, a man's voice suddenly came from the yard. "Summer." Before I could go out to see who it was, the person came in. My eyes widened in surprise. "Ryan? You're back on leave." At the door stood a tall man with rugged features. Wearing a loose t-shirt and black cargo pants that hugged his long legs, he was a sight for sore eyes. Ryan was my childhood friend. We grew up together. He was 2 years older than me and was now a firefighter in town. His height, nearly 6 feet 3 inches, made him imposing just standing there. I hadn't been able to see him the last time I came back, but luckily I was seeing him now. I excitedly walked over and pulled him in for dinner. He was a little shy and said softly, "I've already eaten." "Have some more, have some more." I pulled him to sit down. My brother immediately gave up his seat. "Ryan, sit next to my sister." Grandma Eleanor also smiled and added a set of chopsticks and a bowl for him. Just like that, what was originally dinner for the three of us became dinner for four. Although Ryan wasn't family, he was like family to us. He familiarly asked about Grandma Eleanor's health and if her ankles were swollen, and then asked my brother if he had memorized his chemistry equations. Clearly, he was more familiar with Grandma Eleanor and my brother's situation than I, their actual granddaughter and sister, was. My brother laughed and joked, "Ryan, why don't you just become my brother-in-law? I wouldn't trust anyone else with my sister." Ryan, who had been gentle and composed just moments before, suddenly blushed. I helped him out by slapping my brother's arm. "Eat your food. You're just a kid, trying to be a matchmaker." Someone's phone rang, buzzing loudly. Grandma Eleanor said it was hers and asked me to answer it for her. I found the phone and answered without looking at it. Unexpectedly, a voice on the other end said, "Grandma," making me confused. Did my old lady have other grandchildren besides me and my brother? Then, I heard the person on the other end start complaining. "Summer Davies is too cruel. She just left without a word and even blocked me. Didn't you say she liked domineering CEOs the most? How come she still doesn't like me after I did so much?" Mind blown. The person on the phone was drunk, and I hadn't recognized the voice at first. But now I did. This guy was clearly Justin. But why was Justin saying these things? Wasn't he arrogant and looking down on everyone? When did he become so humble? And what did all these things he was saying mean? What secret did he and my old lady share? For some reason, I didn't want Justin to know it was me answering the phone. Just then, Ryan's voice came from the dining room. "Summer, your food's getting cold. Why don't you eat while you're on the phone?" I instinctively replied, "Okay." The complaints from the phone receiver stopped abruptly. Justin gritted his teeth and said, "Summer Davies, you ran away to meet up with another man?" I froze for a moment, then became annoyed. "What do you mean meet up with another man? Ryan is my neighbor's son, like an older brother." "Justin, don't just say things you don't know. If word got out, people would think I was cheating." "Brother." Justin snorted coldly, clearly too drunk to know what he was saying. "Summer Davies, I'm older than you two. Why don't you call me brother?" I rolled my eyes. "Do I need to remind you? We just have a working relationship. Besides, I'd rather die than call that arrogant jerk brother." Justin took a deep breath, as if trying very hard to suppress his anger. He said, "I can agree to terminate the contract with you. But starting today, let's officially try being together. Summer Davies, be my girlfriend." My heart skipped a beat, then I yelled at him, "Justin, are you crazy? Who wants to be your girlfriend?" Without waiting for his reply, I slammed the phone down. Screw that. That arrogant jerk must be having an episode. Why would he confess to me? He clearly disliked me. A few days later, my old lady wanted to stew a chicken, so she asked me to catch one from the yard. I proudly accepted the task. Ryan saw me and came to help. Ryan, quickly block it. It's flying towards you." "Oh, that was so close." "Almost got it." "Ryan, let's corner it together and then catch it." The yard was filled with the sound of me directing Ryan. Ryan had a good temper and didn't seem annoyed. Instead, he laughed and said, "Summer, aren't we a bit clumsy? Grandma will probably come out and scold us soon." He smiled with his lips pressed together, showing a bit more slyness than usual. I focused on chasing the chicken and replied, "Don't call me clumsy. I'll definitely catch it." As Ryan and I got closer, the old hen we were trying to corner swayed its head, strutting leisurely, unaware of the approaching danger. Ryan and I exchanged a look, and then, we both pounced on the old hen simultaneously. There was a clatter and bang. The quick-witted old hen was startled, flapped its wings, and flew away. Ryan and I tumbled to the ground. In the nick of time, Ryan pulled me into his arms to protect me. That's when Justin arrived. Driving his luxury car, his dress shoes polished and gleaming, as if afraid people wouldn't know he was rich. Seeing me and Ryan piled together, his face instantly became very angry. 17. "Summer Davies, what are you doing?" That line sounded strangely familiar. Grandma Eleanor heard the commotion and came out of the house. Seeing him, she clapped her hands in surprise. "David? You're here." Grandma Eleanor then turned back to look at Ryan and me and almost came over to hit us. "You're too old to be playing like this. Where's the chicken I told you to catch?" I got up from Ryan's embrace, then extended a hand to Ryan and pulled him up as well. "Grandma, we can't catch the chicken." Then, I looked at Justin. "Why are you here?" The aloof and noble man glanced at Ryan beside me. "To visit Grandma and to coax a woman." When he said the last 3 words, his gaze returned to me. I felt inexplicably awkward, my heart racing. Damn it, what is this guy saying in front of Grandma Eleanor and my friend? Justin had been to my house before. He had handled everything when Grandma Eleanor was hospitalized and discharged. Grandma Eleanor was afraid of flying, so he drove her back and forth. From Metropolis to Harmony Creek, over 600 miles. Justin was afraid Grandma Eleanor would be uncomfortable if he drove too fast, so he kept the speed at around 50 miles per hour. He drove for almost a day and a night. At the time, I was very grateful to him, even wanting to work like an ox or a horse to repay him. But he was just too mean. I had to answer his calls anytime, reply to his texts anytime, and wasn't allowed to have any dissenting opinions. Besides that, he was also a germaphobe, liked to put on airs, was a light sleeper, and had a series of other habits. I remember the first time I ate with Justin, he criticized me for eating too fast, saying I had no table manners. Because of that one incident, any budding feelings of affection I had for him vanished completely. Most importantly, heaven knows how wronged I was. I ate quickly because I wanted to finish quickly and go back to the hospital to take care of Grandma Eleanor. Although he apologized to me later, I, Summer Davies, hold grudges. I wasn't going to forgive him. Normally, I wouldn't associate with someone like him. It wasn't that his habits were bad, they just didn't mesh well with someone as free-spirited as me. Hello, I'm Ryan. I'm Summer's childhood friend. We grew up together. While I was lost in thought, Ryan had already extended his hand to greet Justin. Justin glanced at his hand and didn't move. "Sorry, I'm a germaphobe," he said haughtily. "I'm Summer Davies' boyfriend. You say you're her childhood friend, but I've never heard of you." Justin never hid his dislike for people he didn't care for. At this moment, he might as well have painted dislike on his face. Afraid Ryan would be embarrassed, I quickly smiled awkwardly to smooth things over. "Ryan, don't mind him. He just has a bad temper, no ill intentions." As soon as I finished speaking, Justin pulled me over with a yank. "I have a bad temper? Then why did you tolerate it for 3 years without pushing back?" Oh my goodness, he truly had no self-awareness. Doesn't he know why I tolerated it without speaking up? What employee would dare challenge their boss? That would be clearly saying they didn't want the job anymore. Plot requires this. In reality, you should fight back, give him hell. Facing Justin's question, I calmly looked up at him. "You stepped in chicken manure." Justin, 18. Because of an innocent pile of chicken manure. Justin changed his entire outfit, from head to toe. He also took a shower for nearly an hour in the bathroom, scrubbing his skin raw. Don't ask me how I know. When he came out, he was flushed all over, looking as if someone had bullied him. I rolled my eyes speechlessly. If you can't stand it, just leave. This is a poor, remote place, not somewhere a rich young master like you can stay. Perhaps it was because he had just showered, but the steaming mist from the bathroom seemed to warm his cold eyes. Justin looked at me intently. "What about you? Are you coming with me?" Grandma Eleanor just happened to come out with a plate of roasted chicken. I don't know if she heard that, but my face flushed, and I couldn't help but snap. "What are you talking about? Why would I go with you?" Grandma Eleanor clearly heard it and smiled, saying, "You two are dating. Of course you should work in the same place." Grandma. Before I could speak, Justin suddenly wrapped his arm around my waist and pulled me into his embrace. He quirked his lips, a half-smile playing there. "Grandma's right. You're my girlfriend, and my future wife. Of course, you have to be with me." He's crazy, crazy. He's really lost his mind. Justin actually said I was his future wife? What about him and Lisa? He had gone to the extent of finding a stand-in for 3 years, which showed how deeply he felt for Lisa. Now that Lisa was back, he was openly lying, asking me to be with him and become his future wife? Isn't this just a pure scumbag? Whether I was angry or shy, my heart pounded for his words, future wife. I wanted to shut his mouth that always spoke nonsense. Grandma Eleanor thought Justin and I were just joking around and laughed heartily, repeatedly inviting Justin to sit down and eat. Her stewed chicken was exquisite, my absolute favorite. But now Grandma Eleanor gave one of the only 2 chicken feet to Justin. I hated it. Justin smiled politely and thanked Grandma Eleanor. Just as he was about to take a bite, I leaned towards him and said in a low voice, "Do you remember the chicken manure you stepped in earlier? Before this old hen died, it used these chicken feet to walk around on the ground. Aren't you afraid it stepped in some?" Grandma Eleanor scolded me for being mischievous from the side, and I was rewarded with seeing Justin's suddenly frozen smile. Just as he was about to speak, he turned and glared at me. "Are you a devil?" "Grandma gave it to me. No matter what, I'm going to eat it." 19. I never noticed before, but Justin is actually a manipulative bitch. He acts arrogant and haughty in front of me, but with his silver tongue, he had Grandma Eleanor beaming with joy. The next day, he even went to the market with her to buy groceries. When they met acquaintances, the old lady kept calling him her grandson-in-law. Before long, it spread throughout the town that the old Jiang family's granddaughter had made it big and found a man who drove a luxury car to be her husband. Suddenly, relatives who hadn't been particularly close started visiting, saying they wanted to meet my legendary fiancé. I wanted to deny it, but Justin, in front of all the relatives, wrapped his arm around my waist first. He said in a doting tone, "Summer, how should I address these uncles and aunts?" I couldn't take it anymore. I originally thought that with his meticulous and germophobic personality, he wouldn't stay here long. But unexpectedly, he stayed for a whole week and showed no signs of leaving. Instead, the rumors about him and me had spread throughout the small town. How was I supposed to face people or find a partner in the future? I found him and told him to leave. "Justin, we're just in a contract relationship. I don't like you and you don't think highly of me. Why bother?" "Who says I don't think highly of you?" Justin's previously indifferent eyes became serious. I was startled, watching him take a step towards me. I instinctively stepped back. Justin said, "Why do you think I kept you by my side for 3 years? Lisa made it clear after she left the country that we were just friends. Her return this time was specifically to break off the family expectation of marriage with me. Who I truly like, can't you tell?" He pressed closer, backing me up until I had nowhere left to retreat. My heart surged, and I looked at his deep, serious eyes in shock. Who he liked. I asked him if he didn't like Lisa. He never smiled at people, but only on the day he picked up Lisa, he showed a rare, gentle smile. Later, he even got angry that I distracted Lisa and told me to stay away from his Lisa. With all these actions, even if he didn't like Lisa, there was no way he could like me. Besides, even though we had been together for 3 years, in my heart, we weren't close, and I just saw him as a source of money. Heartless woman. Justin squeezed my wrist, applying a little force. I stumbled uncontrollably into his arms, looking up at him blankly. I saw Justin looking down at me as well. His Adam's apple bobbed, and he said in a low voice, "I smiled because you were stumbling in your high heels and I called you clumsy, but you just stood there blankly without retorting. I was angry you were talking to Lisa because you originally belonged only to me, but now someone else was taking up your time talking and laughing. I got used to having you in the passenger seat. What's more, I've never even touched your hand, your face, your waist, but that woman Lisa touched them first. Can you understand why I was angry?" Hearing his words, I was completely stunned. How could the same events have such different memories for him and me? I shook off his hand. "But you never said you liked me in these 3 years? Are you trying to trick me?" Thinking of something, Justin's eyes suddenly darkened. He asked me, grinding his teeth slightly, "Think hard. Did I ever say anything like that to you?" 20. After Justin's reminder, a scene did flash in my mind. It was 2 winters ago, and Metropolis had a rare heavy snowfall. I came out of school after class that night and saw Justin's multi-million-dollar luxury car parked on the road. Everyone's eyes were on him. I felt a lot of pressure and was about to pretend I didn't know him, but then I heard him call my name. Summer Davies. Instantly, all my classmates, those who knew me and those who didn't, looked at me in shock. At that time, I was known among my classmates for being poor. I studied desperately for a few $1,000s in scholarships and, year-round, wouldn't even spend money on an expensive simple soup. That's why they were surprised that I knew such a rich and handsome man. Justin was 3 years older than me and had long shed his student air. From the moment they saw me get into his car, a small rumor started circulating among my classmates that I had a wealthy boyfriend. Why didn't they guess I was being kept? Probably because Justin was too handsome. I sat in Justin's car and asked him why he came. He only said it was Valentine's Day, but didn't say anything else. I thought he was probably lonely seeing couples everywhere, so he spent money to buy a girlfriend for company. He took me to a Western restaurant. Under the romantic candlelight and violin music, a waiter brought a bouquet of roses. It was then that Justin asked me, "Summer Davies, do you want to keep going like this with me?" How did I answer him? I was a little tipsy from the red wine at the time. My head felt fuzzy. Hearing that, I thought he was asking me to be his contract girlfriend indefinitely. I refused immediately. I said, "Justin, don't mess with me. I still need to get married." I didn't pay attention to his reaction at the time. Could it be that was his confession? Justin said he was so angered by my reaction at the time that he couldn't speak. But he also understood that I didn't like him. So he stopped saying similar things to me and found another way to keep me around. "You like money, and I happen to have plenty of it. As long as you can stay by my side, no matter how, it doesn't matter." Damn. He made me feel a little touched. I had been confessed to quite a few times since I was young, but Justin was a little different. I had spent 3 full years with him, in a relationship that was neither intimate nor distant. Besides Grandma Eleanor, my brother, and Ryan, he was the only one I had spent so much time with. I didn't have many friends growing up, and a relationship reaching this level was truly rare. But I had never thought of him as someone I could like romantically. The reality gap made me clearly aware of the distance between us. We weren't a good match. The story of the prince and Cinderella would never happen in reality. Reality only cared about matching social status. Like him and Lisa. Besides, I really didn't like his domineering and arrogant personality. Hearing this, Grandma Eleanor gave me a knowing look and said, "Summer, do you really know what liking someone means?" 21. Justin stayed in Harmony Creek for nearly half a month. At first, I was a bit resistant, but seeing him help Grandma Eleanor with things every day, I gradually got used to it. My brother came home from school one weekend. Seeing Justin, he didn't give him a good look and kept mentioning Ryan. Justin didn't argue with him, just mocked him for being bad at video games but addicted to them. My brother got annoyed, threw down his game console, and said, "Try it if you dare." So that afternoon, Justin showed my brother the difference between people. Finally, my brother put away the game console and said unwillingly, "Even though you're good at games, you want to date my sister? Dream on." Our house only had 3 bedrooms. When my brother wasn't home, Justin stayed in his room. Now that the kid was back, I said I'd sleep with Grandma Eleanor and let Justin have my room. Unexpectedly, my brother and Justin both said at the same time, "No need." I looked at them, puzzled. My brother said, "You won't sleep while squeezed in with Grandma. Besides, you two aren't even together yet. Why should he sleep in your room? That kid could be stubborn sometimes." I was about to ask where Justin was supposed to sleep at this hour. Then I heard Justin say calmly, "I'll sleep with Aiden." "He's right, it's inconvenient for you to sleep with Grandma, and Grandma isn't well." My brother's name is Aiden Davies. Grandma Eleanor named both of us. I was born in the summer, so my name is Summer Davies. My brother was born on the first day of the Chinese New Year, so his name is Aiden Davies. The kid heard Justin's words and immediately got angry. "Who told you you could call me that? You can't call me Aiden. And who wants to sleep with you?" That night, the house was filled with Aiden Davies' complaints, occasionally mixed with Justin's warnings, spoken through gritted teeth. "Aiden Davies, I'm tolerating you for your sister's sake. If you don't take your foot off my clothes." The sound reached my room. I lay in bed, laughing until my stomach hurt. Justin, you finally got what was coming to you." I loved sleeping in. When I was busy working part-time, I didn't have time to sleep. Later, following Justin's lead, I became lazy and slept until I woke up naturally every day. Today, I was woken up by a low pleading sound from the yard. Realizing the voice was Grandma Eleanor's, I immediately woke up, threw off the blanket, and ran out. At the same time, Justin and Aiden also came out of the bedroom. Grandma Eleanor stood in the yard, surrounded by several fierce-looking, burly men. She was pleading with these men in a humble voice. Robert really isn't home. I'm just an old lady with no money. Take this $800 and just leave, please. My grandson is in high school and needs his rest. Hearing the commotion, Grandma Eleanor turned her head. Seeing Justin, a look of panic and grief crossed her face. Summer, quickly take David inside. Grandma is fine here. These uncles are just here asking questions. Her face was full of urgency, and the hand hidden in front of her kept signaling me to go back. But I knew those men. I also knew Grandma Eleanor was saying this to protect me and was worried Justin would look down on me if he saw our family's troubles. But I didn't care. What if he looked down on me? I couldn't abandon Grandma Eleanor to face these men alone. Aiden, seeing the men, had already rushed forward. What do you want? If you want to collect a debt, go find Robert Davies. He's the one who owes the money. What does it have to do with us? The leader was a man with a long scar from his eyebrow to his eye. His name was Tony, a debt collector. I had seen him many times over the past 20 years. 22. You brat. Your old man owes me money. I can't find him, so who else am I supposed to find? And you dare hit me? Tony had been punched in the face by Aiden and was cursing as he prepared to hit him back. No. Stop. My eyes narrowed, and I and the panicked Grandma Eleanor spoke at the same time. As Tony's fist rose, Grandma Eleanor, who was just a step away from Aiden, suddenly hugged him. My heart leaped into my throat, terrified that something would happen to Grandma Eleanor. At the critical moment, a tall, imposing figure appeared in my line of sight. Justin blocked Grandma Eleanor and Aiden, grabbing the fist that was about to land. In the quiet yard, his sharp voice rang out, carrying a hint of aggression that wasn't usually there. Who the hell are you? I'm here to collect money from this family. What business is it of yours? Tony's arm was held by Justin, and he tried to break free several times but couldn't move. Finally, he became enraged. Justin, however, said calmly, Summer Davies is my woman, Aiden Davies is my brother-in-law, and the one you almost hurt is my grandma. You dare touch them? Are you tired of living, huh? With that single, huh, Justin's killing intent instantly flared. I stared at him blankly, never expecting to hear those words from him. Before I could recover, a scream rang out in the yard. My heart jumped, and I quickly looked. It turned out one of Tony's men had tried to sneak attack with a knife, but was kicked to the ground by Justin, flying back 6 feet. Grandma Eleanor and Aiden were stunned, watching it all in shock. My heart also leaped for a moment. Then I remembered Justin was a black belt, 10th Dan. Tony was completely enraged. You son of a... Before he could finish speaking, Justin twisted his hands behind his back. Justin pushed him hard towards the group of men. Then his voice was lazy and deep. I'll pay the debt. If you dare bother my family again, you can forget about keeping your hands. Tony heard he would be paid and scoffed dismissively. Fine. This family owes me $2.5 million. If you're capable, pay it to me now. Justin, you don't need to get involved in this. I quickly spoke to stop him, rushing over to shield him behind me. I looked at Tony. You want money? Not a cent. If you try to resort to violence, don't blame me for calling the police. Tony wasn't from our area. I heard he had committed crimes in his hometown years ago and was most afraid of getting caught by the police. I thought such a threat would work on him, but unexpectedly, Tony just laughed mockingly. Call the police? Go ahead and call them. See who dares arrest me. My brows furrowed, and I clenched my fists tightly. Just then, Justin pried open my palm and intertwined his fingers with mine. I looked up, startled, to see him gazing at me with calm eyes. Unintentionally, a trace of tenderness was revealed, making my heart feel steady. Relax. Leave it to me. 23. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at Tony. Give me the bank account number. Tony scoffed and beckoned to his men. His subordinate immediately gave Justin a bank account number. Justin took out his phone, his long fingers tapping on the screen. Tony, smoking a cigarette, said, You better not pull any stunts, kid. If you can't transfer this $2.5 million, I'll break your... Done. Before he could finish, Justin had already completed the transaction. Done. Tony narrowed his eyes, his gaze fixed on Justin like a venomous snake. If you're messing with me, I'll break your leg today. With that, he took out his phone to check. Soon, his face changed, and he said to his men, "Let's go. No one is to bother this family again." Until their figures disappeared, I didn't know what had happened. From Tony's expression, it didn't look like he had received $2.5 million. Why did he just give up bothering my family? When I asked Justin about it, he put on an aloof act. "Wanna know? Then praise me first." He was always this shameless. I used to put up with it to earn money. Now? Why should I? I rolled my eyes. Say it or don't say it. I turned to leave, but unexpectedly, a warm hand grabbed my wrist. Justin softened his voice. "Just one compliment. For not letting Grandma get hurt today." My heart fluttered slightly. I turned back to look at him and found his gaze gentle, with a hint of pleading in his expression. When had Justin ever shown such an expression? Most importantly, I seemed to have seen him like this more than once. When I refused to eat with him, when I accidentally damaged his car while he was teaching me to drive, when he got drunk at a business dinner and I went to pick him up. But why had I never thought that he was indulging me, showing weakness? Looking at his pitiful expression, I felt an indescribable feeling in my heart, a mixture of reluctance and heartache. It was a feeling I had never experienced anywhere else. But ultimately, I only said thank you. As for the words of praise, I didn't want to give him the wrong idea. "Justin, you should go back tomorrow." Seeing the expectation in his eyes gradually fade, my heart actually ached along with it. Justin asked, "Didn't you feel something for me even for a moment?" 24. Feel something? What was that? Grandma Eleanor told me my parents had a free love marriage. In an era of arranged marriages and parental orders, they proved their love with their actions. But what happened later? My dad drank and gambled, did everything wrong. When my mom was pregnant with Aiden, he hit her until she was covered in bruises. Do you think that was love? The first day of the Chinese New Year is my brother's birthday and also my mom's death anniversary. It rained heavily that day, and the thunder was the loudest I'd ever heard. My mom hanged herself from the beam, and there was still blood flowing from her body below. Do you think she loved my dad? Did she love me and Aiden? I never understood what feeling something meant. And I never knew what love was. My parents, in Grandma Eleanor's memory, also had memories of being in love. But what was the final outcome? One drank, gambled, and didn't come home, not knowing whether he was alive or dead for over 20 years. The other abandoned her newborn child and hanged herself from the beam in her own house. Was that the so-called love? Justin was silent for a long time after listening. When he spoke again, he asked, "Is that why you're afraid of thunderstorms?" I felt a moment of dazed trance, because in my memory, there were countless times Justin had spent with me during thunderstorms. But I had never told him I was scared. But he just knew. Suddenly, my eyes felt a little sore. I smiled at him and said, "I used to think you were annoying, but looking back now, you were quite good to me." Justin didn't smile. His brow was tightly furrowed, and with a serious, almost urgent tone, he told me, "Summer Davies, we are not your uncle and aunt, and we will never become like them." Yes, neither of us would become like my parents. But did I truly like Justin? Seeing that I didn't answer for a long time, the light in Justin's eyes finally went out. He promised me he would go back to Metropolis tomorrow and wouldn't bother me again. At that moment, the surrounding cold air seemed to envelop me, seeping through my skin and into my heart. That night, I went to Grandma Eleanor's room. Nestled in Grandma Eleanor's arms, I asked, "Grandma, what is it like to like someone?" Grandma Eleanor gently patted my back, just like when she used to coax me to sleep when I was a child. Hearing that, she smiled. Liking someone is missing them all the time when they're not around. Liking someone is wanting to share half of the $1 you have in your pocket with that person. There's no specific way to show liking someone. When you fall for someone, you'll just know. I listened, half understanding, half not, only knowing that my mind was filled with Justin's face. His arrogant look, his cold and heartless look, his angry and restrained look, his drunken and flushed look, the dark look in his eyes when he pinched my waist, his look when he was defeated in front of me, his look when he stood in front of danger and told me to trust him. When I came back to my senses, I was secretly startled. When did I become so familiar with Justin? Although I had never truly acknowledged it, Justin's image was already imprinted in my mind. The next day, when I woke up, I saw the message Justin had sent me. I left. It gets crowded if I leave too late. 25. Panic instantly seized my heart. I ran out without even putting on my shoes properly. Grandma Eleanor was sweeping fallen leaves in the yard. Seeing me, she seemed to know what I was going to say. David left at 6. He told me not to wake you, said he didn't want to disturb your sleep. It was a bright October morning, but I felt like I was immersed in cold water, freezing all over. My phone rang. It was Lisa calling. As soon as I answered, I heard her excitedly say, "Sister-in-law, are you and Justin together?" My dad said Justin called him personally last night to break off the family expectation of marriage and said he already had someone he liked. I knew it was you. He drank for 3 days straight after you left without a word. I even got evidence of him crying. I'll send it to you later. Lisa's call struck me deeply. Shortly after hanging up, I received the video she sent me on WeChat. In the video, Justin was heavily drunk. The people around him couldn't wake him up, and he was murmuring a name indistinctly, Summer Davies. His eyelashes were damp, and he looked like he had been crying. Lisa asked me if it was funny. I didn't answer, because my answer was that I felt heartbroken for him. Grandma Eleanor told me there was no standard answer for liking someone, that I would just know when I fell for someone. I think I understood now. I liked Justin. I couldn't bear to see him sad. I missed him when we were apart, and even though he had left Harmony Creek now, I still worried if he was lonely or tired driving by himself. Grandma, I want to. Go ahead, child. Get along well with David. Grandma Eleanor still knew what was in my heart and still supported my decision. I wiped away my tears and turned back to my room to pack my suitcase. That afternoon, I took a plane back to Metropolis. When I arrived, Justin hadn't returned yet. I waited for him outside with my luggage. An hour later, the familiar car finally appeared. Justin was back. He saw me too and slammed on the brakes. "Summer Davies, how are you here?" He pushed open the car door and got out, his face showing uncontainable surprise. Before I could answer, he rushed over and hugged me. "Is this your answer, Summer Davies?" Hearing the tremble in his voice, I raised my arms and hugged his waist, a smile curving my lips. "Yes, Justin. I think I like you too, so let's try dating." As soon as I finished speaking, Justin cupped my face and kissed me. No backing out. I tilted my head back, accepting his embrace. Okay, neither of us will back out.